The Ylar Dominion had ruled the Orion Arm for 3,000 years. Their fleets patrolled the stars, their banners hung from conquered worlds, and their emperor sat upon a throne carved from the bones of extinct civilizations. To the Ylar, all others were subjects or prey. So when human settlers carved out colonies along the trade lanes of Saren's Reach, the Dominion watched with faint amusement, a young species still unscarred by true war. They traded politely, sent envoys, spoke of cooperation and law. In the eyes of the Ylar, it was weakness. The incident began on Shalora III, a fertile moon rich with water and minerals. 10,000 human colonists lived there, farmers, scientists, children. To the Dominion, they were trespassers, daring to harvest resources without tribute. When the Emperor's fleet arrived, there was no declaration, no demand. Only fire orbital bombardments turned oceans to boiling steam. Settlements melted into glass. Children's screams carried faintly across subspace channels before the comms went dead. In less than an hour, the colony was ash and vapor. The Ylar commander, High Lord Varix, broadcast his words across the sector. Let this be the lesson. Humanity is fragile clay, unfit for the galaxy's forge. Their worlds will break as easily as their bones. Across the Dominion, there was laughter. Cheers in the Senate chambers, wagers in the slave markets, drunken songs in the officers' halls. The Ylar had destroyed a human colony without resistance, and they were certain Earth would bow its head and endure. But arrogance is a poison, and they did not see the storm they had just called down. The wine of hubris. The Dominion celebrated for weeks. Holovids replayed the bombardment as a spectacle. Merchants joked that humans would soon beg for protection. Governors mocked Earth as the pacifist jewel of Sol, a world too timid to bare its teeth. In the High Palace, the Emperor listened to his counselors mock humanity. Earth will petition. Not retaliate, one declared. They are builders, not warriors, another agreed. Their fleets are outdated, their armies small. They will send envoys with trembling hands, not soldiers. The Emperor smiled, sipping wine poured from a chalice older than Earth's pyramids. Then let them come begging, he said. Their desperation will amuse me. The laughter rolled through the chamber like thunder. But elsewhere in the galaxy, others did not laugh. Neutral states whispered uneasily. Traders who had seen human steel in pirate wars remembered something different. Discipline, precision, and an anger that smoldered behind calm eyes. Allies of Earth sent frantic messages, warning the Dominion that the human heart was not one that forgave. The warnings were ignored. The Ylar miscalculated one simple truth. Humanity's silence was not weakness. It was focus. 3. The silence before the word. When news of Shalora III reached Earth, there was no outcry in the Senate. No speeches in the streets, no public threat. There was silence. The silence of mass graves, the silence of mothers clutching empty cradles, the silence of soldiers standing at attention, waiting for orders that had not yet been spoken. In that silence, fleets mobilized. Shipyards burned with relentless labor. Dreadnoughts that had slept in dry dock were rearmed. Black projects buried under lunar regolith opened their gates. Earth spoke no word to the galaxy. No threats, no boasts. Only the grinding hum of industry filled the void. And when the silence finally broke, it was not with diplomacy. It was with a single transmission, pulsing across every channel, every frequency, every listening ear in the galaxy. The message was one word, spoken in a voice cold as the grave. Enough. 4. The stirring of the Colossus across the stars. Humanity rose. From Mars, a fleet of carriers lifted, each one larger than the cities they had once sheltered. From Europa's oceans came submersible strike craft, hardened against pressure and heat, now remade for war. From the shipyards of Titan emerged dreadnoughts whose hulls shimmered black as midnight, designed not for survival, but for extermination. On Earth itself, armies mobilized. Millions of soldiers donned exosuits, weapons forged from alloys unknown to most of the galaxy. Orbital elevators groaned under the weight of deployment. And at the core of it all, the Sol High Command, sat humanity's final word, etched into every communique, painted onto the hulls of every warship. No forgiveness, no surrender. The galaxy trembled. Allies who had once pitied humanity now prayed not to be caught in their path. Even rivals who had long dismissed Earth began evacuating their border colonies. The Dominion laughed still, but less loudly now. Their scouts reported impossible numbers, fleets assembling faster than any model predicted. Rumors spread of experimental weapons tested on forgotten moons, where atmospheres burned away in seconds. Whispers carried from one world to another. Humanity is coming. V. the unfolding wrath. The retaliation began not with a battle, but with an execution. High Lord Varix, the one who had ordered the slaughter of Shalor III, was found aboard his flagship at the Dominion's frontier. He awoke to alarms screaming across the decks. Before his crew could react, the stars outside the viewport vanished, blotted out by human ships, hundreds of them, arriving in perfect silence. They gave no warning, no ultimatum. A single railgun round, accelerated to near-light velocity, tore through the flagship's shields, armor, and core in less than a second. Varix never had time to scream. His ship was vapor, his name erased from existence. Then the fleets moved outward. Human ships didn't fight like the rest of the galaxy. They didn't dance, didn't posture, didn't trade blows. They descended like executioners. Fleets appeared from FTL with mathematical precision, encircling targets in seconds. Planets fell not in weeks but in hours. Orbital defenses collapsed before they could fire. Cities were disabled with pinpoint strikes, their command centers obliterated while civilian zones were left untouched. At first, the Dominion's admirals screamed for counterattack, but every attempt ended the same way. Silence, wreckage, ash, and still the humans did not speak. Only when the Dominion Senate demanded parley did Earth finally answer. Across the stars, human fleets broadcast a phrase in unison. We are not negotiating. We are remembering. 6. The throne shatters. The war lasted 93 days. In that span, half the Dominion burned. Fortresses older than humanity's written history fell in hours. Star systems that had never known defeat lay in ruins. On the 94th day, Earth's armada surrounded Ylar Prime, the heart of the Empire. The Emperor stood upon his throne, staring at the holoscreens as a storm of human warships filled every orbit. Dreadnoughts so vast they cast shadows upon the planet's surface. Carrier swarms blotting out the stars, fleets so numerous they seemed endless. The Emperor's counselors begged him to flee, to surrender, to kneel, but he remained frozen, staring into the abyss of inevitability. Then came the final transmission. It was not shouted, not screamed, not triumphant. It was a whisper, a single word, spoken in the same cold tone that had marked the beginning of Earth's retaliation. Justice. And then the skies fell. Orbital strikes lanced downward in coordinated patterns, carving the Empire's capital into molten ruin. The Imperial Palace, the throne that had ruled for millennia, split in half, collapsing into fire and smoke. The Emperor, once unchallenged master of the Orion Arm, died without a final word. His throne, his bloodline, his empire, shattered in a single night. 7. The silence of ashes. When the guns fell silent, the galaxy held its breath. The Dominion was no more. Its fleets lay scattered debris. Its throne was a crater of molten glass. Survivors crawled through rubble and whispered among themselves. Not of rebuilding, not of vengeance, but of fear. Fear of Earth. In cantinas and council halls, the same story spread. Do not provoke them. Do not test them. Do not wake what sleeps beneath soul's silence. For humanity had shown its truth. Patience as vast as the void. Mercy when unchallenged. But when blood was spilled, when innocence burned, humanity's vengeance was infinite and absolute. And so the galaxy learned. The Empire's throne shattered when Earth whispered a single word, and none dared provoke that whisper again.